How to Move from Average to Wealth. A Zen teaching on abundance, opening. There are teachings that find you when your spirit is ready to receive them. If you are listening to these words now, it is because your soul has aligned with a frequency of abundance that has been calling to you. This is not chance. This is divine timing. You are not meant to remain average. Deep within you knows this truth. Part 1, The Awakening. Chapter 1, The Cage You Cannot See. In a monastery hidden among bamboo forests, there lived a monk named Chen, who swept the same courtyard for 30 years. Each morning, before the sun painted the mountains gold, he moved his broom across ancient stones, watching wealthy merchants pass through the gates with their silks and coins. One day, the master approached him during his sweeping and asked, "Chen, why do you believe you are poor?" Chen gestured to his worn robes and simple rice bowl. "Master, I have only these." The master smiled. "No, Chen, you have convinced yourself that this is all you deserve. The cage is not around your body, it is around your mind. You too may be sweeping the same courtyard of average circumstances, believing that wealth belongs to others. But here is the truth the universe has been whispering to you. Average is not your destiny. It is simply a frequency you have been taught to broadcast. Wealth does not flow to those who chase it desperately. It flows to those who align with its energy. And alignment begins not with action, but with recognition. Your current financial situation is not a verdict. It is feedback. It shows you the vibration you have been holding. When you understand this, everything changes. Sacred practice. Tonight, before you sleep, place your hand on your heart and speak these words. I was born worthy of wealth. My current circumstances are simply echoes of old frequencies. I am ready to broadcast a new vibration. Chapter 2. The Water Remembers Its Source. In a village where drought had turned fields to dust, an old woman named Lin walked each morning to a dried riverbed. While others had long given up, she would sit beside the cracked earth and close her eyes. "What are you doing?" the villagers would ask. "I am remembering the river," she would say, "and the river is remembering itself." They thought her mad. Until the day water began to seep through the cracks, slowly at first, then rushing back with abundant force. The river had not forgotten its nature. It simply needed someone to hold the memory of what it truly was. Money, like water, has a source. It flows through the universe as energy seeking channels worthy of conducting it. Right now, in this very moment, infinite wealth is flowing through invisible streams all around you. The question is not whether it exists. The question is, are you a channel or are you a dam? Most people were taught to be dams. Close your fist around every penny. Hold tight. Fear loss. Scarcity thinking creates energetic resistance that blocks the natural flow of abundance. You have been living as a dam when you were designed to be a river. Here is what the wealthy understand that the average person does not. Wealth is not acquired through desperation. It is attracted through resonance. You do not chase the river, you become the riverbed that naturally receives its flow. Sacred practice. For the next 3 days, each time you spend money, no matter how small, silently say, "Money flows through me easily and returns multiplied." Feel yourself as a channel, not a closed fist. Chapter 3. The Merchant's Mirror. There was once a merchant named Kenji who traveled from village to village, yet could never build lasting wealth. One night, exhausted and penniless, he sought shelter in a temple. The abbot brought him to a room filled with mirrors. "Stay here tonight," the old master said. "In the morning, tell me what you see." Kenji looked at his reflection from every angle, his tired eyes, his shabby clothes, his defeated posture. He saw a man who had failed. When dawn came, the abbot asked, "What did you see?" "I saw a poor merchant," Kenji replied. The abbot shook his head. "No. You saw what you believe yourself to be, and the universe is simply reflecting that belief back to you. Your external wealth is a mirror of your internal identity. This is the law that governs all abundance. You cannot rise beyond the identity you hold for yourself. When you look in the mirror, who do you see? Do you see someone temporarily experiencing limitation, or do you see limitation itself? Do you see someone worthy of abundance, or someone who must settle for average? The wealthy do not have different circumstances, they have different identities. They see themselves as worthy before the wealth arrives. This is not arrogance. This is alignment. Your identity is not fixed. It is a frequency you can choose to broadcast differently, starting now. Sacred practice. Stand before a mirror, look into your own eyes and say, I am becoming wealthy. Abundance is my natural state. Say it until something shifts inside you. That shift is your identity beginning to transform. Part 2. The Path of Transformation. Chapter 4. The Empty Bowl Paradox. Master Tanaka had a peculiar way of teaching about wealth. He would place an empty bowl before his students and ask, how do you fill this? Most would say, by pouring something into it. But one student, a young woman named Yumi, gave a different answer. By emptying ourselves of the need to fill it. The master smiled. She understands. This is the paradox that transforms average people into wealthy ones. You must release your desperate grip on lack before abundance can find you. When you clench your fist around scarcity, you leave no room for wealth to enter. Wealthy people understand detachment. They desire abundance, yes, but they do not need it to feel complete. This subtle shift in energy changes everything. You've been taught that wanting money is wrong. This is a lie that keeps you average. Desire is sacred. It is the universe's way of showing you what wants to flow through you. But desire must be paired with detachment from outcome. Plant the seed of your financial goals. Water it with vision and action. Then step back and trust the harvest. The desperate farmer who digs up his seeds daily to check their progress will never reap abundance. Sacred practice. Write down your financial goal. Fold the paper and place it somewhere sacred to you. Then speak these words. This or something greater is making its way to me now. I trust in divine timing. Let it go. Chapter 5. The Frequency of Wealth. In the mountains, there lived a craftsman named Ichiro who created the most exquisite pottery. Yet he could barely feed his family. A wealthy collector visited and asked, Why do you price your masterpieces so low? Ichiro bowed. I do not wish to seem greedy. The collector laughed gently. You are not honoring your gift. You are broadcasting the frequency of unworthiness. When you undervalue your creation, the universe matches that frequency. The next week, Ichiro tripled his prices. Within months, he could not keep up with demand. The pottery had not changed, his frequency had. Everything in the universe vibrates at a specific frequency. Poverty is a frequency. Average is a frequency. Wealth is a frequency. You are currently tuned to a station, broadcasting a signal that the universe matches with precision. When you think thoughts of limitation, you broadcast lack. When you speak words of struggle, you tune to scarcity. When you move through your day with the energy of not enough, the universe says, yes, you are right, and delivers more of the same. To move from average to wealth, you must consciously change your frequency. This is not about pretending to have money you do not have. This is about embodying the energy of abundance regardless of current circumstances. Sacred practice. Throughout your day, notice every thought about money. When you catch yourself thinking, I can't afford that, immediately shift to, how can I afford that? When you think money is hard to make, shift to, money flows to me easily. You are retuning your frequency with each conscious shift. Chapter 6. The Grain of Rice. Teaching. A young student approached Master Sato and asked, how does one build great wealth? The master placed a single grain of rice on the table. Start here. The student looked confused. But this is nothing. Exactly, said the master. And this is why you are average. You dismiss the small because you crave the large. But the oak tree honors the acorn. Wealth is not built in dramatic leaps. It is built in daily disciplines so small they seem insignificant. The average person looks for the lottery, the windfall, the big break. The wealthy person honors the power of compound alignment. Every small choice is either moving you toward wealth or toward average. The coffee you buy without thought. The hour you spend scrolling instead of learning. The opportunity you dismiss because it seems too small. These are not neutral moments. They are frequency broadcasts. $1 saved and invested begins a river. One skill developed in spare moments becomes valuable expertise. One relationship nurtured becomes a bridge to opportunity. but you must honor the grain of rice. Sacred practice. Today, take one small action toward wealth that seems almost too small to matter. Save $1. Learn one new thing. Make one meaningful connection. Honor this action as sacred, knowing that oak trees grow from acorns. Chapter 7. The Student Who Could Not See Gold. There's an old story of a student who complained to his master, "I see no opportunities for wealth. They exist for others, not for me." The master scattered gold coins throughout the temple garden and said, "Walk with me." As they walked, the student continued lamenting his lack of opportunity, stepping over coin after coin, never looking down. When they finished, the master asked, "How many opportunities did you see?" "None," the student said, "because you were looking at the horizon while wealth lay at your feet." Opportunity is not scarce. Your awareness of it is. Right now, as you listen to these words, you are surrounded by pathways to wealth that you cannot yet see. They are invisible not because they do not exist, but because your perception has not been trained to recognize them. The wealthy have developed eyes that see what others miss. They see value where others see nothing. They see possibility where others see obstacles. They see the temple garden covered in gold coins while the average person walks by, looking elsewhere. Sacred practice. For the next 24 hours, become a seeker of hidden value. Look at everything with new eyes. What need can you solve? What value can you create? What is everyone else overlooking? Train your perception to see the gold already scattered around you. Part 3. The Mastery. Chapter 8. The Truth About Deserving. In a wealthy merchant's house, the servants would gather in the kitchen, whispering about their master's fortune. "He was born lucky," they would say. "He deserves his wealth because of his family name." One servant, a young woman named May, disagreed. She had watched the merchant closely and noticed something others missed. Each morning, before anyone woke, he would sit in silence and speak words of gratitude. Each evening, he would give away a portion of his earnings. Each day, he moved through life with the certainty of someone who expected abundance. He is not lucky, May realized. He believes he deserves it, and the universe agrees. Here is a truth that will transform your financial reality. You do not need to earn the right to be wealthy. You need to accept that you are already worthy of it. This is where most people block their own abundance. Deep in their subconscious, they carry the belief that they are not deserving. Perhaps they were taught that money is the root of evil. Perhaps they believe wealth belongs only to the corrupt or the lucky. Perhaps they feel guilty for wanting more. These beliefs are chains, and you are the one holding the key. Wealth is not a reward for being perfect. It is an energy that flows to those who allow themselves to receive it. Your worth is not determined by your accomplishments. It is your birthright. Sacred practice. Write this statement and read it aloud daily. I am worthy of wealth not because of what I have done, but because of what I am. I am a divine expression of abundance, and prosperity is my natural state. Chapter 9. The Gift You Must Give First. Master Roshi had a strange requirement for students seeking to learn about wealth. Before he would teach them, they had to give away something precious. "But Master," they would protest, "we came here because we have nothing." "Then you have learned nothing," he would reply. "Wealth begins with giving, not receiving." This teaching confounds the average mind. How can you give when you need to receive? But this is the ancient law that governs abundance. The universe rewards those who participate in the flow, not those who hoard in fear. When you give, your time, your knowledge, your resources, your kindness, you declare to the universe, "I am abundant. I have more than enough to share." This frequency is magnetic. It attracts wealth because it broadcasts wealth. The average person waits until they have abundance to give. The wealthy person gives first, knowing that this very act creates the channel through which abundance flows. You do not need to give money you do not have. But you can give attention to someone who needs to be heard. You can give knowledge to someone who needs guidance. You can give gratitude for what you already possess. Each act of giving raises your frequency. Sacred practice. Within the next 24 hours, give something of value to someone who cannot repay you. Give freely, without expecting return. Feel yourself as a conduit of abundance, not a container of scarcity. Chapter 10. The Final Key. You are already wealthy. In the final lesson, Master Tanaka gathered his students and asked, "What is wealth?" They offered many answers. Money, property, freedom, security. The master shook his head at each one. Then he said, "Wealth is a state of being, not a state of having. It exists first within, then manifests without. You cannot become what you already are. You can only remember." This is the secret that separates the average from the wealthy. Wealthy people do not feel wealthy because they have money. They have money because they feel wealthy first. You have been waiting to feel abundant when you see your bank account change. But the law works in reverse. Change your inner state, and your outer circumstances must follow. Right now, in this moment, you are breathing. You have awareness. You have the capacity to think, to choose, to create. You have survived every challenge that has come before this moment. You are alive in a universe of infinite possibility. This is wealth. This is abundance. When you recognize this, you stop living from lack. You begin living from fullness, and the universe mirrors this frequency back to you in the form of material wealth. Sacred practice. Each morning upon waking and each evening before sleep, speak these words: I am already wealthy. Abundance is my true nature. Money is simply catching up to what I already am. Feel the truth of this in your bones. Closing. The path is yours now. You have received these teachings because your spirit called them forth. The wisdom shared here is not new. It is ancient, flowing through the ages from those who understood the true nature of abundance. Now you stand at a threshold. Behind you lies the identity of average, the frequency of limitation, the belief in scarcity. Before you lies a path of wealth consciousness, where abundance flows naturally because you have aligned with its frequency. The choice is yours, not tomorrow, not when circumstances change, now. Will you continue to broadcast the signal of average, or will you consciously shift to the frequency of wealth? The universe is listening. It has always been listening, and it will match whatever frequency you choose to emit. You were never meant to be average. You were meant to be abundant. This knowing has been planted in your heart since before you took your first breath. These teachings have simply reminded you of what your soul has always known. Walk forward now, not as one who is becoming wealthy, but as one who is remembering their wealthy nature. Let every thought, every word, every action broadcast this truth. The temple garden is covered with gold coins. Your eyes are now open to see them. Go forth. The wealth you seek is seeking you with equal measure, and so it is. Final practice. Return to this teaching whenever your frequency wavers. Let these words be a tuning fork that brings you back to the vibration of abundance. Share these truths with others whose spirits are ready. In teaching, you deepen your own mastery. The path from average to wealth is not a path at all. It is an awakening, and you have just awakened.